It's West Ham Minds channel. We're going to be looking at two things in tonight's show. One, we'll quickly go very quickly. We'll go through the FA Cup fourth round tie tonight, which finished Derby County 0, the mighty West Ham United 2. So we are through to the fifth round, and we will be playing away to Manchester United. So that draw was done a bit before the game, and not surprisingly, hard draw. And teams like Spurs are playing with a non-league team away, aren't they? Wrexham and things like that. So obviously my focus, funny enough, isn't too much on the FA Cup. It's more about performances, more about what kind of team is David Moyes setting up with, the tactics, that kind of thing, really. And obviously tomorrow is the transfer deadline day, so that's really something that's interesting me more than what's happened tonight. But certainly we'll look at tonight's game very quickly. Good performance, professional performance, but one or two things to say. Bowen, carries on that scoring sort of form, isn't it, after Everton game? Antonio started where he has to. We don't really have any other strikers. He set up the goal. He scored one goal, and he's been doing okay last couple of games. Antonio. Good to see Emerson getting a run of games. He looks to be getting better slowly. Areola played. Agard carries on through injury. Souček was in there, wasn't he? Who else was in the lineup? Let's have a look. I think Rice was rested. Downs was in there. Fornals was okay. Again, doesn't look very good in front of goal, but running around. Kehrer was in there. So, it's okay. We won 2-0. Can't complain. But really, we've got much more serious things to think about, isn't it, everyone? I'll go through the comments then. I want to just get into the transfer window and things like that. I can't talk too much about the game tonight, but we'll certainly go through the comments, and someone might want to bring up one or two things tonight. So let's see who's in there. God, it's getting busy, you naughty people. So we have Steve. Steve, make sure your phone's charged up, mate. Steve is one of these West Ham fans. I think he sleeps 3 hours a day. Apart from that, he's got his phone on. He looks at the phone all day. Even when he's in the shit house, he looks at the phone. Give me breaking news of what's going on. So Steve, just keep staring at your phone, my man. You are very good at breaking news. Like I said, ITK, whatever. You are ex-employed little assistant, breaking news. So Steve, in the chat, let me know. Last 20 seconds if I missed anything. He's good like that. Lets me know what's going on. What a game, mate. Get in there. What a game, Frankie. Good, wasn't it? Frankie's going to join in slowly once he sort his audio out. Can you hear me, mate?
I can hear you now, mate. I can hear you now.
Good. Yeah, we just, what we're going to do in this show, I thought, mate, was, very quickly just a couple of minutes on the game and see if anyone in the chat really wants to talk about tonight. I don't really want to talk about anything, mate, apart from, Emerson's getting running the team, doing all right. Downs played tonight. Bowen carries on his scoring from the Everton game. Areola in goal. Antonio set one up, scored one, mate. So got Man United next game away. Well, we knew it was going to be a hard draw, especially that Spurs guy doing the draw, didn't we? And teams like Tottenham playing away, or Wrexham, aren't they? That non-league team, I think, away from home. Good draw for them. I'm going to go into the chat, but before I do, mate, about the game. Anything interesting for you to discuss or you notice, mate?
I think you summed it up pretty well, mate, to be honest with you. I think Emerson is looking good, but I think it's because we're playing him how Emerson likes to play. He is more of a wing back. Do you know what I was... I'm not going to get into the David Moyes thing tonight because I just don't think it's necessary.
We're going to go into the transfer window as soon as we wrap up Derby in a few minutes, mate. Yeah, he'll come up then anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, so, I don't think the David Moyes thing is worth discussing, but I think this Emerson thing is correct. Emerson playing that way is definitely more suited to him. It more suits us, it gets us a little bit more further up the pitch because we've got wing backs and we've got that bit of pace down the wings to try and get us forward and get more balls into the box. So I think that's looking good. I think, Bowen is looking back to himself again, which I said a couple of games ago with the Wolves away game. I spotted that Bowen had a bit of life about him again, which is good. But I'm just about to say what Hammerhead has just put in the chat. Kehrer should have been wing back. Johnson should have been the right centre half. I think that is the one thing I didn't really understand. Kehrer does it for Germany so well. I think he looks much better when he doesn't have to defend. I think Kehrer looks a bit shaky again defensively tonight. But I think Kehrer for Germany gets down the right-hand side so well. I think he really bombs down there. He's got the engine to get up and down. And I think he puts in a really good ball. I think he's more confident going forward. Ben Johnson, as soon as he gets over the halfway line, it's like he has a nosebleed and panics and just wants to get back and defend again. So, yeah, for me, I would have switched them two. I would definitely have had Kehrer as the wing back and Johnson as the right centre half. Souček, mate, I just want a bit of a shout out for him because I know what's going to happen tonight. Everyone's going to come out and praise Antonio. There's going to be loads of praise for Antonio all over social media tonight, and poor Thomas Souček won't get any of it. And he had a much, much better game tonight, albeit, against lesser opposition. I don't think people are necessarily considering that too much. This is a League One side in a really poor division. And they didn't have anything about them. They played some all right football, mate. I think they tried to play football, which I appreciated. I think that was good. But I think Thomas Souček did really good. I think they done well. And, he made that first goal and that was really important to get ourselves in front. He put himself about well. Even his cross-ball passing was really good. He was playing some really nice long balls into Bowen and the passes were absolutely perfect. So, I really think Souček had a much better game. But again, like I say, mate, it's against a really... compared to where we are, it's a side that's so much lower than what we're all about. So you can't take too much from it, mate, really. The fans were fantastic, mate. How good were the fans tonight? They were singing all the old school songs, all the old fashioned songs, which was brilliant. What it showed you, mate, is if you get a group of people, a few thousand of you together in the same area, all up for it and rocking in the stadium, mate, that a bit of noise can really be made and echo out there. So I really hope West Ham do try and do more to get the people who want to sing and have a bit of atmosphere together in our stadium, because I think it's got so flat over there. But the problem is every time we get a little pocket together, we try and disperse them because we don't really want that. We don't want to be the side with the... but it was brilliant tonight. It was like the old days, mate. And just a big shout out to everyone who went up there and made the effort, mate, on a Monday night. 4,500 of them making a lot of noise was superb, mate.
Some people are saying the football was awful, and again the two teams kind of look they're part of the same league to me. They kind of both are trying. They're missing their top scorer, Darby McGoldrick. I think he wasn't playing. We're missing a few.
Mate, they had a 37-year-old centre back. 37 years old centre back, Curtis Davies. Mate, I can't believe he was still playing. When I saw him on the pitch, I was like, he's still there. We can't take anything from tonight. What we've got to do is just use it as a confidence builder. There's another win on the board, albeit not in the Premier League. We've got to use that and somehow take that confidence and use it for trying to get something at Newcastle, mate. That's what's important right now is those points. But I'll tell you what, mate, I've got a funny feeling we go to United. I've got a funny feeling we beat them. When I get the feeling in my stomach that West Ham's going to go and do something, I think we're going to go and beat United, mate. I really do.
Are we saying Danny Ings is completely ruled out the FA Cup, is it? It's not one of those where cut the rounds and he's
I don't think so. Doesn't seem that way, mate. Doesn't seem that way.
Yeah, we need Souček back, I think, if we're going to give him a game. Or if they're going to rest a few players, we'll see how it goes. But it's a way to, I don't know if that's helpful. Do we want to be home? I don't know. Or if they got their eye on the top four, that could help us. And with Europe, European games back again, mate. Just George. Man United. The number of times we've drawn them in the FA Cup, mate, since I've been following West Ham, it's incredible. It's probably the team we play the most.
Just every year you almost get them, mate. We're due to go and roll them, mate. I think we are. I think we're due to go up there and shock everyone and surprise them. So, no, I think I just hope, and I really hope this. If we go on this cup run and we go and beat United, I really hope it don't just distract everyone from what's going on in the Premier League. And if we go into that United game and there ain't no points on the board in the Premier League, it's not a good place, mate. This Premier League is, without a shadow of a doubt, our priority right now. So
I'm going to say something controversial, Antonio, and then it's up to everyone else. He's picked up form or playing better, which wasn't easy to do with Antonio since the Everton game, and I think it's something to do with the interest that two clubs have got in him. I think that's why he's upped his game a bit. I think a lot of players do that. He's got 18 months to run on his contract. He knows clubs are watching him. I think that's part of the reason, mate, that he's looking like the way he should. Like the way he should, I think, a lot better. That's what I feel, mate. I don't know.
And he's mate, he is better. I still don't think he had a brilliant game tonight. He took that ball down pretty well. Well, as somebody at that standard of football, you should be able to do that. We're more shocked because it was Antonio that did it than anything else. I still think he was pretty average in the most part of tonight, and I don't think he was, other than the little pockets that he did things okay. I thought it was a very average performance again. It wasn't the standout performance for me out there tonight, I have to say. But he looks like he's got energy again. And like you said, is that because he wants to try and force his move elsewhere? I don't know. Is that because he wants to show everybody he can still have something to offer?
I think he's looking for that. He's looking for that last move, Frankie. He's got for the money again. Like he's done well anyway at West Ham with the contract, but when they're about that age, they do a bit better to get that one final. Take him into 35.
That's it. And mate, it's no difference to Ings with this move that he's done, mate. Ings has managed to secure with us extra years on his contract than he would have had if he would have stayed at Villa, which takes him to I can't remember whether it's a 34 or 35-year-old, on 125 grand a week. He would never have got offered that. If he would have stayed another year at Villa, no one then at the age that he would have been would have given him that many years at that sort of money. They're not silly, these people, mate. They know. And listen, they have got short careers. They have to earn as much as they can out of football. And that's fine. So,
does anyone know what's happening with Lanzini? Is he injured? Is he completely shut out?
He came on tonight, didn't he? At the end,
did he? Oh, there you go.
Come on, yeah, I think I saw him come on late on. So, but he's been shot for a long time, hasn't he, mate? He's another one who we had the opportunity to move on at times, and we really should have done. I think Steve, another really good comment. I think Areola, he just gives me so much more confidence, mate. He's just so much more agile. Just he can actually move. Fabianski looks like he's stuck in the mud at times, where he's getting a bit older. Still okay at shot stopping, but doesn't command his area. I never have the confidence that Fabianski is gonna, support the defence at times, and I think his distribution's poor. So I think Areola was another really good positive tonight. But what annoys me is Areola has these good games. And then Royce refuses to give him the Premier League chance, an opportunity. If you've got this system where you want to play him in the cup, if he has an outstanding performance, you've got to give him his chance as the first team goalkeeper. You got to, mate.
I think, like you said, it's up to Moyes. I mean, I either use him playing, but you definitely got to bring that new younger goalkeeper in the league right now. It's well overdue. And if it's Areola, it's him, or if it's someone else, bring someone else in by. But what you can't do is just keep playing Fabianski every league game and not have any idea of what's the future. Ash, what's his name? What's the fullback? Ashby. What's your comment on Ashby, mate? Gone to Newcastle, 3 million.
Yeah, today, we knew that was coming. Yeah. I've seen people say that 3 million's, good money for a youngster who's not really played much football. I'm not sure about that. We can't keep trying to develop players and then sending them out the door. A lot of people are saying Ashby's left because the club didn't fancy him. It's not true. That Moyes and his relationship broke down, and he wanted out because of what's happened, and that speaks volumes, mate. That we've got this mass exodus of young players at the moment. Previous years, I think it has been because maybe they've not been good enough. But I think this time, there's a little bit more to it than that, mate. I think we have got some decent, talented youngsters around us at the moment. And I think, going out the door like they are, it surprises me, mate. I think it's a shame. But if there's no route to the first team for them, and no opportunity, then you can't blame them. Mate, like I said, if you're good enough in the Premier League, you can be playing at 18, 19. Brighton have been playing this youngster, Ferguson, whatever his name is. He's been scoring goals.
Yeah.
If you're good enough, you should be getting in the team. You should at least be coming off the bench, being around the first team squad. We'd rather put 2 goalkeepers on the bench than put a youngster on there. Tonight, I think the game was done. I think the game was won when Antonio come off the pitch. Give Mubama that whole 25 minutes of running on the pitch, get him, used to playing in the first team squad, give him some exposure to first team football. I'm glad Benny come on as well, because I do think we need to keep Benny's momentum up, keep him match sharp. And, you want Benny going into Newcastle with confidence. So I'm glad Benny come on. But I think, there was an opportunity for Mubama to come on earlier than what he did and experience a bit more football,
Yeah. Especially the thing with Ashby is what gives me sort of more confidence in sort of thinking he's going to have a good future is obviously when Newcastle are interested in him, and obviously Eddie Howe's kept an eye on him. I think The Athletic has done a whole article on him, and again, what I was saying, that the guy is full of potential, really, really eager to sort of bomb forward, and confidence and reasonable pace, very, very muscular, strong, well built. And what I like about Eddie Howe, Frankie, is he knows the system he wants, and the people he's buying, they're fitting to that system. They're wing backs, they're explosive, they're pacey, they've got solid centre backs, and he's turning the team around. People like Shelby, they're not part of the plan. That's what I like. The manager knows what he wants, and he's doing it, and it all makes sense. And the fans trust him. And when they buy players, they know exactly how the piece is going to fit in there, and they think, that's the type of player. We could see it from Trippier. And whereas some of the signings we sign, we're thinking, why did we sign him? Where's he going to play?
Yeah.
And the final thing on that is, mate, do you think that when Scamacca and Danny Ings is fit, that Moyes would ever play 2 up front, mate?
Well, yeah. I'd like to think so, because I think we can get overrun in midfield in this formation we got at the moment. I think at times when, and this is my slight problem with the situation at the moment, is Moyes has stumbled again across a system where he's realised we've got wing backs who are better at attacking than they are at defending. He's realised that we need to stop the rot, so we need to put 3 centre halves in there. He's realised we can get away with it. However, there are going to be teams who see that formation and think, do you know what? We're going to stick 3 central midfielders in there and we're going to overrun your midfield. And when they come and do that, has Moyes got the ability about him to think, instead of playing the 3 up top, play 2 and put an extra man in midfield? And that would combat them trying to overload us in the midfield. I'm not sure Moyes has got the brains about him to be able to switch it up when that moment comes, because some teams will realise what we're doing, and that's what they're gonna try and do to us. So and that is our weakness at the moment. Is if we have those 2 in the midfield with the 5 at the back and the 3 up front, then that's what can happen to us. And I think actually when Scamacca and Ings are both fit, I do think playing them as a 2 may give us some sort of success. I think I think Scamacca's been crying to someone to feed off of. And I also think Ings is better in around the box than he would be if, he's playing as a lone striker. So, I think that would be an interesting thing to see. But has Moyes got it in him to do it? I don't know.
Yeah, how you doing, Ryan? You all right?
Yeah, I'm all right, yeah.
What's up? Should we lend you some money for the electricity or the meter?
Yeah, no. Can't afford it.
How you been anyway? What's your comments, mate? Was that one of the best games you've ever seen in your life? Do you want to
100%. Beating Derby in League One. Gotta be.
Yeah, I mean, the football is, again, listen, mate, I'm not just picking on West Ham. I'm not being a miserable git. We can all tell that there's something still not right. It's not fluid. It's kind of playground football. It's accidental. Even a goal sometimes are 3-4 ricochets. But I mean, our chat is split between we can only beat what we've got, be happy, they're getting better. Then half of them are kind of a bit like me saying, big deal, not really convinced yet. So split fan base. Ryan, which side do you sit on, mate? You can see the improvement, or
no? We played against Derby. So, I mean, you can't really take any... Well, you can take away that we won and Bowen scored, and that's another game now. He scored in back-to-back games, which is better. But, no, it's only Derby, realistically.
Yeah. Like Frankie said, I don't know how our fans on a Monday could go up there. It's incredible, isn't it? You know, some
And
of the
start
football...
singing Super David Moyes.
It might have been a bit of tongue-in-cheek, I think. I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm not sure about that. But Man United away, mate. So our record in terms of... We used to have always a tough opening Premier League fixture, and now that's obviously the Cups is always the same. I'm a bit annoyed by that. Again, if we had the reasonable draw, I would be so much more happier today. But Frankie thinks we've got a chance. We're away to Man United, mate.
Yeah, I think we do. I think we got a chance. Beat him last year in the Cup.
Yeah. And if they got their eye on the top four, mate, they might rest one or two. And to be fair, the team out there today, that's probably one of the strongest Moyes could put out there. And he's kind of, he hasn't rested too many. He certainly hasn't brought any youth in. And talking about youth, mate, it's really gutting to see Ashby gone to Newcastle. It's embarrassing for the club, I think.
Yeah, I think Ashby was quality.
Yeah.
And I mean, the thing that I don't get is how can Ben Johnson play and Ashby can't? I just don't understand that because I think Johnson's awful, absolutely terrible. And Ashby,
he didn't have a good game, did he?
He never has a good game though. I've never ever seen him have a good game. I would rather stick a cone out at right back, and I think he would make more tackles than him. He is.
I just think I've always said I think Johnson, with his build and with his lack of pace, I think he's more suited to a right centre half than he is a fullback. I think I've always felt that, and I think Kerrer is more made to be a right wing back. So I was very surprised Moyes had him the way. When I saw the lineup, I was interested to see who Moyes had as the wing back and who he had as the right centre half, and I was surprised he had it the way round that he did.
I think Johnston's the next one to leave, gentlemen. I think it's just not going to happen at West Ham for him. I think, he's the next one gone. So, So that's kind of what's going to happen there, mate. What do you think? What I was saying to Frankie, Ryan, do you think Ings and Scamacca will ever play up front together under Moisey this season? Anyway,
I don't know because he loves his 4-2-3-1. It's in his mobile number. Like, I don't see him playing it at all.
Right, let's get into the transfer window. One more day to go. I usually do mad 24-hour shows, but I've got to pick up my old man from the airport tomorrow in the afternoon, so I'll probably do a bit in the morning, do a bit in the afternoon, and then try to do one late on. Mate, it doesn't look like much is happening. Frankie, first with you, mate. Loads of crap happening, but I'm not going to believe all of it. I mean, left it a bit late, mate. Anything happening, you reckon, tomorrow, mate?
I think it's quite typical. Our board have this opinion that there's no point in trying to do any early business because teams don't want players to leave. They always want too much money. However, deadline day, teams get a bit desperate to do some business, and you get a better value for money on the last day than you do throughout the whole of the window. I don't believe that. I think other teams do plenty of business in the January transfer window. I see a lot of people see no good business is done in the January transfer window, but I don't think that's true. I think Tottenham last year had a brilliant January transfer window and basically got them Champions League football. That's the difference the January transfer window can make. So, I think it's just typical us with the way we do our business. I don't think it's ever any different. I'm surprised Ings came in as early as he did, if I'm honest.
I do feel
like we need a little bit more, but our squad's full. We can't bring in anybody because we've got the maximum amount of registered players that we can have on the books. So at the moment, we physically can't do any business without anybody going out the other way. So, we need to sell to bring in who's going to go. I wouldn't be surprised if Antonio did find somewhere. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a shot, one going out the door. And if that happens, then we'll be scratching around to bring somebody in late on. But I probably feel like, similar to last year, the deadline will come around and sorry, Hammer 89, you're right. So Dawson has gone. So there is a spot available there. But yeah, I just think you'll probably find that the window will come down and not much will have, nothing will have happened. I feel that's how it will be. But
Same question to you, Ryan. Do you think anything's happening tomorrow, mate?
I don't know, hasn't Moffey got a medical or something like that? Or is that not true?
He has. It's at Nice, mate. He said no, and that's another thing, mate. That's embarrassing again. I think not
Yeah.
attracting him if there's someone like that in front of him. I know they've got a bit of money now, but again, I'm going to go back to Moisey. You can't attract. I can't attract players, mate. I'm sorry.
No.
They don't want to play for him. They can't attract them. Darmish of Sky.
I don't just think it's Moyes. I think it's the board as well. I don't think they're good at attracting people. In fact, I think it's everything. We've said it before. I think it's the facilities we have. I think it's the stadium. I think it's a lot of things, mate. I just don't think we're a very attractive club, which is why the last few deals that we've made have been money signings. I think Danny Ings came ultimately, like you said, Jazz, for that final payday.
I think when we paid for him, 30-year-old, that type of guy, I'm all right with it. That injury, listen, that's a bit unlucky.
I'm not talking about the money we paid for him. I'm talking about the wages, mate. The wages that we paid for him on the length of contract that he's got.
What's the wages,
he would
Frankie?
not have
I never found that out in the news.
125 grand a week. He's
Wow.
our highest earner now.
Okay, I didn't know that because I couldn't see any of that in the articles. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Ouch.
So he's on, and we've signed him up for. I can't remember what. I'm sure it was a 3 to 4 year contract. So, you know, it's quite a serious investment we've made there.
Jerry, you're right. What it is, I just can't get excited today because my focus is on the window, mate, and staying up and Moisey gone. I'm sorry, that my mind's just locked on that. And I kept telling you, if Moisey had gone, a new manager, and I don't care who I would have been, if Everton got Dyche, whatever, I'd just get excited by silly things like that, mate. I'm just not excited at the moment. And I think I'm not going to be till Moisey has gone. I'm really sorry, everyone following the channel. I am just, I don't know what you call it. I'm just stuck in a mental block. I can't get too happy. Yeah, that's the kind of thing. So for me as well, mate, I don't think anything's happening tomorrow. But what would I like to happen is, in the situation we're in at the moment, and to stay up, you need to create goals and score goals. I'm not too worried about the back because I know we don't concede too many, but there's a reason behind that. As you go more and more attacking, you kind of you let in a few more goals. So we've got in. I would have gone for one more striker and one more creative player. That's what I would have done. To sit next, alongside Paqueta Benrahma in the squad. That's what I would have done, Frankie. One more creative player, one more striker, mate, for me. And to think about it, that we'll score our way out of trouble now and again, or more often than not, mate. I don't know if that's the right way, Frankie. We got our guard back. Zuma's another concern, isn't he, mate? Bloody hell.
He is. I mean, he's looking like he's just going to be this constant, injury-prone defender. It's great when he's there, but again, I still think we rushed him back in that last game. I know we haven't got a lot of options because of the situation we're in, so I feel like we felt we had to play him. But his mobility, even when that first part of the game, when I said to you he fell over, he literally collapsed on the floor, and they were running in behind us. He looked like he just couldn't move. It looked like he couldn't turn. He was so stiff. He looked like he needed some light games in the under 23s just to get his movement back, get his muscles moving again, get him sort of whatever, and then he would and then I think he would maybe come back and had a bit of a longer run without getting this thigh strain or whatever it is he got. So yeah, I hope he can have a run of staying injury free, but I've got my doubts at the moment, mate. But the one we do need is Aguerd, because he is a real shining light in this season so far, mate. He looks absolutely brilliant.
Ryan, Shelby's joining Forest, mate. We were after him twice in the recent times, mate. Good pass on him. Can stick his foot in. West Ham fan. I was speaking to Steve earlier. He doesn't want him. I'd rather have him than not have anyone. I'm a bit like that. He is 30. It's not a wise signing, mate. So
no,
he's one of them. Hakim Ziyech, is it Chelsea guy? I think Newcastle's sniffing around him. He's been, on and off in his Chelsea career.
Brilliant for Ajax, though. He used to whip balls into the box.
On his day, he's actually good.
If you can get the best out of him, if we had a manager that I felt would put their arm around him and get the best out of him, I'd say it would be a really good signing for us. I'm just not sure Moyes improves him in any way or gets him firing on all cylinders. Mate, against Ajax, when he played for Ajax, not against that, when he played for Ajax, he was so effective. He used to whip balls into the box, so dangerous. And he's the sort of player that, just made things happen. Just if you needed someone to create a bit of magic, he had it. He went to Chelsea and they just haven't used him in the right way, and he looks a bit disinterested. So do we need a player like that who's not really up for it and is going to, I don't know. It's
Yeah, I know what you mean. Happy
I
Hammer.
don't trust Moyes to get him or singing again, that's for sure.
I know, Ryan. Anyone else you're thinking of, like, doesn't get a game? I think Liverpool want to get rid of what's that striker? They got the Brazilian up front. We spoke about him, didn't we? He's 30, 31.
Firmino.
Yeah, they want to get rid of him.
I'll take him.
Yeah, we've got to watch the aged 30-year-olds, and we've got to be careful because Ings is coming at 30,
Yeah, exactly.
and then we get another one. Again, mate, he hasn't played any youth players again, isn't it, tonight, even when we're 2-0 up with 20, 30 minutes to go, mate, you know?
He just doesn't like him, does he? I don't get it. But the thing is, he's never, ever played youth players, ever. Except from, if anyone's asked him, he'll probably say that he played Rooney when he was 16 or something like that. But he just never plays them, and that's why they all want to go.
Would you have looked at Maguire?
No.
And then we were linked with Keane, who I don't like. Keane's
no,
finished,
he's
mate.
awful. He is awful. Yeah, but they're both awful. Like they're not an improvement on what we've got. And if we were going to get Maguire or get Keane, there was no point letting Dawson go. I know he wants to, but also got to do what's best for the club as well.
I think Dawson's a good time to let him go because he's not going to get any better at that age anymore.
No.
Get more injured. But there's no point, like you said, getting rid of him, not bringing anyone young in. Then there's no point, you know. That's the thing. Areola, yeah, we'll see what happens, mate. I think Fabianski's going to carry on in goal. I think the Spurs are trying to do one or two things in the window. But for me, I can't see. I mean, Antonio. Yeah, you never know. But I don't think we're that kind of club that we get deals done quickly with a day to go. We're constantly like missing the deadline and things like that. And then it's just back to the league. We've got Spurs, we've got Newcastle, we've got Chelsea. How many points out of those 9 you think, Ryan? What do you think?
1 if we have Moyes. 1.
What about you, Frankie? Out those 9, mate?
God, it's a tough one, isn't it?
Not for me and Ryan. I'll probably go.
I could have probably said 0, to be honest.
Newcastle, no chance, mate.
We're losing 5-0 at the weekend.
Well, the thing is, think about it this way, Frankie. If Ings and Skamaka ain't going to play in any of those 3, it's quite simple, isn't it? Point at best, mate.
Yeah. I don't know, mate. I feel like I just think that crowd up there tonight. I think there is a little bit of a positive vibe coming back. I think we can nick a point against Newcastle. I think Newcastle had their little bubble spell and they've started to dip a little bit. Palace have gone there and nicked something. So it would just be typical West Ham to roll either Tottenham or Chelsea. It's just so us.
Yeah.
You know, we could lose every single game in the season, come up against one of them two and go and roll them. So I just wouldn't be surprised if we beat one of them, mate. So I'm going to go 4 points out of the next 9.
But I do have to let you know that if Newcastle are slightly not as good as beginning, they're into that league final and they are going to buy another 2-3, mate. That kind of bumps up again. You know, you always, unlike Moyes, you always add when you're doing well. He wouldn't have bought anyone. I'm happy what I've got, and he would have kept going like that for 2 years, really. So what did Moyes do at the end of the? Was a nice clap towards the fans and stuff.
Well, they were really singing his song, mate. They were really singing. We've got Super David Moyes. But then again, I think they went through the entire repertoire of West Ham songs over the last 20 years. I think they just about sung every single song we've ever sung, right down to 10 Men Couldn't Carry Lampard, to Ludic McCloskey, to just everything, mate. They really did get behind the team tonight. So I don't know. I think some people are warming to the idea again that Moyes can get us out of this. The problem is the wins have come in non-Premier League matches, mate, and Premier League is where it matters right now. So, yeah.
Yeah, because Everton have lost a couple of players in the window, haven't they? So that's very difficult for them. Dyche just come in. It's a very hard job. But yeah, I mean, there's 2-3 points between everyone. Leicester and Southampton, 3 points. It is tight, but our fixtures are hard. I think we're going to be in the bottom three after these fixtures, and we'll see what happens, mate. Then Europe's coming. That's going to be an extra game again, isn't it? And then the draw will be around February, March. You know who we're going to play next?
We'll know a lot more
Yeah.
after Newcastle, mate. We'll know a lot more about where we are. A lot of people have been saying, you know, Everton, and then we had the Brentford FA Cup game before that, and then the FA Cup game tonight, and people were sort of getting a bit heady and thinking Antonio's back and thinking, you know, West Ham's back and this Aguerd is, you know, going to be our saviour and all the answer to all our prayers, and Emerson's going to be a great wing back, and there's all these positives that we're seeing in these sort of lesser games. Newcastle is the real test. We will know exactly where we are after that Newcastle game. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, mate. I want to see what we've got about us and if we have turned a corner. But typically West Ham start turning a corner, bump up the curb and hit a tree, mate. So you know, I wouldn't be surprised if it could go either way. I wouldn't be surprised if West Ham go and nick a draw up there. I wouldn't be surprised if Newcastle proper iron us out. We don't normally do great against Newcastle.
No. I think they got the other guy back, the one they bought from the Swedish guy. He's back. They've got so many options, mate. Yeah, there's so many options, mate. And I think it's just a bit too much for us at the moment, especially with Ings missing and Skamaka not fully fit. And what has to be said, do you think it would have been a good game today for Paqueta, maybe? Because he's still struggling to get into form, isn't he? I don't know.
I don't think he looked great again out there tonight. There were a few people who looked so much better against a weaker side. Like I said, Souček looked better. Bowen looked good again. I think Emerson looked good. I think Aguerd looked good. There were a lot of people who looked a level above tonight. Paqueta didn't really stand out for me when he came on the pitch. There was one bit he did where he went to block a cross and he sort of stuck a leg out and the Derby player easily crossed it into the box. And I just thought, what are you doing there? But, you know, it was one of them games where it's not a Paqueta type game, is it, mate? A Monday night in Derby, in a game that's already won when he comes on the pitch. You know, can you expect him to pull up any trees tonight? Probably not. So, again, we will know. Newcastle's midfield, good midfield. We will know more about Paqueta, you know, against Newcastle.
They don't let in any goals, Frankie. It must be like 6-7 clean sheets in the last 8-9.
Steve said Paqueta didn't come on tonight. I swear I saw him trying to block.
No, I didn't think he was in the team either.
Whoever that was, it might have been Kerr. It might have been Kerr who was trying to block it. I had my son watching.
I hate Kerr. I think he's awful.
It might have been Kerr who was trying to block the ball then.
Yeah, Paqueta didn't feature actually. No, he didn't. I didn't think so.
Started dissing Paqueta when he's not even on the pitch.
I swear it was him. I was playing football with my boy at the same time, and I could have sworn it was him, but there you go. Obviously not.
Yeah. And Ryan, what you think we're going to go down, mate? I mean, a nice difficult question with everyone bunched in together, mate.
I don't think we will, but the only reason I don't think we will is because I think there's 3 teams that are worse than us. That's the only reason why.
And those teams are, let's have a look. So you're looking at
Everton, 100%. I think Everton are going down.
Yeah, because they're selling players, which is crazy. And I know they've made a 45 million bid for Gallagher. You ain't going to go there. They're mad.
No, but they're literally turning Everton into Burnley. They've now got Deitch. They've got McNeil. They've got Tarkowski.
Yeah, Ward-Prowse is going to leave if they go down Southampton, and I don't know, probably end up at Spurs and stuff like that. Wolves. It's going to be tight, mate. I think we should stay up. I think so.
We should.
But it all depends on injuries and things like that, mate. But it's been a complete season, a write-off season, isn't it? And, well, I don't know if you're going to be in Europe either. It depends what we do in that tournament and stuff like that. I don't know, mate.
Probably get relegated and win it. It's something stupid like that.
Do you know what, though? You won't win it because David Moyes ain't got it in him to win anything in his career. Yeah. But what you could do is you could be in the semi-final of the FA Cup, having knocked Man United out and got to a semi-final or something. That's really distracting from the actual what's happening in the Premier League. And then all of a sudden you get knocked out of the FA Cup in the semi-final and you realise how suffering we are in the Premier League. We're probably still in the Europa League or Conference League at the same time. And then before you know it, we're banging trouble and can't get out of the relegation zone, which would be an absolute nightmare. So I know this is all great for building confidence, but they are distractions that when you're in a relegation battle, you don't really need. So
It's like you said, Frankie. I think the truth is that I'm not convinced yet, and I shouldn't be. It's just one win against Everton in 8, 9, 10 league games. So yeah, let's just keep watching and see how we do in the league. But yeah, we shouldn't be too convinced yet. We've got to keep carrying on getting more points in the league. I think. Weston on loan. Who's that, mate? Weston on loan. Who's that? Is that Weston? I don't know. How come Weston on loan we didn't get? Is that? I don't know.
Well, it's Weston McKennie, isn't it? Is
Oh, okay.
He's good. He's good as well. Was good in the World Cup.
Yeah, defenders. Well, Kera's up and down a bit, isn't he? And then, yeah, Dawson was a good signing. He was all right. Zuma, yeah, if it's just the injuries, mate, really. He was all right. Agard's good. Goalkeepers, yeah, so he's all right. He's all right, mate. So it's just a bit of that, isn't it? I'm just glad we got someone in, Joey, to be fair. I'm not going to complain, mate, rather than no one in there. But
I just saw a story that I was having a look at the rumours and saw that we're going to try and do what we can to sign Kevin Mbabu from Fulham, which is an interesting one. Right back, he's got blistering pace. He's I haven't seen much of him, but I know he's quite a quick...
He was good. He was good for Wolfsburg. He's actually quite good.
Yeah, so interesting one.
Yeah, it's just so many things in the air, mate. Obviously, ownership in the summer, and David Gold, what's going to happen with his shares, mate, and Moyes' future, and Rice's future, and Bowen in the summer, and I think there's so many things up in the air, mate. And if we just about stay up, I'm not sure a lot of players are going to be happy about that, mate. Because there's so many other teams they can move to now. With Newcastle got some money, Chelsea going to spend their way out of trouble if they can. Man United are kind of getting there. Liverpool.
All I know is, mate, we beat Man United in the next round. I've got that feeling. We beat Man United in the next round. I really believe we'll go and do them.
And then we play Man City then away.
Well, that would be typical us, wouldn't it? Though?
Well, I think there's 4 teams left in the draw, wasn't it? It was us, both the Manchester clubs, and one other team, weren't there? I think something like that, wasn't it? But I knew that Spurs kid was doing the draw. He's going to stitch us up like number 7, wherever we were, weren't we? Yeah, Steve, I never heard you say that before, mate. Yeah, because I believe in rumours, you know.
And it is all nonsense, mate. But it's still, when you're up, you have to look at what's out there, didn't you? And you can normally get a bit of an idea for, if we are trying to, make anything happen, and if we
haven't done that many shows, Steve, because it's just not been that kind of window. We haven't really. We used to every other day, just not been that kind of window, mate. Not even being linked that well. That many people.
Not been that kind of few windows. Well, obviously it was
summer was all right, wasn't it? 7, 8
people. It was a bit lively in the summer, wasn't it? It was.
Where's Lingard then? He's still at Forest doing nothing. That's odd, isn't it? Yeah, Maguire said no, mate. Yeah, his brother.
I'm actually surprised Moyes hasn't gone for Lingard. I really am. I thought he was going to.
I think they better fight, mate. I think they've got talking to each other now, mate. I think after what happened and now what he's been saying about him. Victor Lindelof over, yeah, mate. All right, I just want a bit more creativity, a bit more West Ham type football, scoring goals, that kind of thing, mate, isn't it? And yeah, I mean, Emerson, if he's showing signs of being a half decent wing back, I'll take it because I do think. Yeah, I know the formations. I mean, just got to think about what players we've got fit. I mean, it's all right in some games as long as we've got the right personnel. Yeah, Hammer89 asking where Baz has gone. Baz is doing his own little business stuff.
Baz is, he's been really busy with work and getting his business all singing and all dancing, which he needed to focus on, and he's done really well for himself of late. So that's really good news. I did catch up with him end of last week, and he's got a bit of time on his hands through February. And early sort of March, but we just haven't got time to do it anymore. And plus, I like coming on here, mate. This is more than enough for me.
Yeah, mate. It's not enough hours in the day, isn't it? Sometimes. Rice and Maguire, Dyer, yeah. So I'm going to go through the comments, gentlemen, and we've been going 45 minutes, and I don't really have anything to talk about the game. And the way the window is, it's just not really that exciting at the moment. No one's driving down the highways to, I don't know, wherever our ground is, Rush Green for a medical. We're not being linked with anything. It's just a slow kill, isn't it, mate? Slow kill.
I don't blame him, mate. I think I don't think they should have given Moyes any money with what's happened since the summer. But I feel like they knew they had to give him something. They had to give him another tool to try and get out of the situation we was in. So I think they bit the bullet, gave him Danny Ings, and thought that would do you. And I don't blame them. Why would you give him any more? Loans. I'm not a huge fan of loans. I know Lingard did come in and do well, so something like that can pay off. But yeah, ultimately, mate, I just think, other than a right back, I don't think there's much more that I would be doing anyway. So I'd love to see this Mbabu come in on deadline day, mate. I think that would be a really positive move. But other than that, I wouldn't be surprised. And I wouldn't be too disappointed if I don't see much else either.
It's just leaving a bit late again, mate, in a day. How can you... Well, you can get it done, but I just don't trust that club to do things quickly and then, probably miss it right at the end. Cancelo's a surprise, everyone, isn't he? He's going. Bayern Munich, 60
million.
There've
been a few fallouts. I didn't realise. He was really kicking off in the tunnel the other day. And he was really... There was a lot of noises coming out. It was either him or Bernardo Silva that was really unhappy with the club and wanted to get out. And it obviously now is Cancelo. So, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not just us that upsets people, mate. It's not just David Moyes that pisses people off. Oh, Pepe can do it and all.
There's some with him and Foden as well, other than just Cancelo. Like Foden was really annoyed with him.
I get upset with him when Spurs keep beating him. I get annoyed at that. Well, how Spurs keep battering City all the time, apart from a few times. So, because he picks weird teams, and my son's like, "Why is De Bruyne on the bench?" Doesn't make sense, but it is, mate. He squared up to Pep. All right, well, got his move then, mate, on loan with a 65 million pound deal, and apparently the formation he doesn't want Cancelo in there anyway. I don't know what's going on.
And he was like the best fullback last year as well, so it's just crazy.
Oh, well, he's in my fancy football for a couple of years, a bit of assists and all that. Time match, that's it, mate. So, gentlemen, unfortunately, mate, it's one of those windows where I usually like to get excited. It's just, just nothing happening, mate, like it used to in the good old days. And, when we bought Solano and the next day all these players, Sullivan strikers, we used to buy 5 strikers a window.
Where's Zaza? We want him back.
Mido and all these guys came in, mate.
Faguli, good player. Want a bit of Faguli.
He wasn't bad out of the bunch, isn't he? He was half decent out of the bunch.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, better than we had Nordveld and all them naughty ones, and we had that Gorka. Was it Gorka? Gorka or something? That winger who was injured all the time. Yeah, that's Turkish guy. Yeah, it was a shambles, mate. Shambles. Couple of comments and we're done. Andre, are you? Yeah, it just didn't suit him. The club
could have had a dream team up top. Zaza and Shamak.
Mate, the thing is, IU away at Tottenham at Wembley, mate, was just...
Yeah, vibes.
I'll never forget that. It was just dreamland, mate. I loved it.
I'll tell you what, keep an eye on the Saudi Arabian League. They've got people lined up, mate. They're looking at Salah next couple of windows.
They're becoming like the new America, aren't they? They're taking all of the sort of aging talent and giving them big paydays. They're really sort of trying to build it over there. But mate, at the end of the day, they'll never be able to build anything over there. They're not that way inclined, are they?
Do you see anything about Ronaldo with the manager? The manager apparently doesn't want him anymore. What? 3 games, yeah. He said something like, I think he's going to finish his career in Europe. So he's basically saying that at the end of this, he's going back to Europe because he don't want him. Before the thing, he said he didn't want him anyways. He said he wanted Messi.
I'm Moyes out still, mate. Frankie, we've got to answer this question, all of us.
Yeah, no, 100%, mate. Like I said, I actually think at the most part, Derby played better football than us tonight. I think they was trying to move the ball around quite nicely. I don't think this 5 at the back with wing backs is going to entertain me for the foreseeable future. It's just trying to do something different to get out of the position we're in. So, yeah, I'm still not, sold that Moyes is going to turn this around. I'm still not sold that he's going to be able to bring attractive football to us, but that's not the point at the moment. We've just got to get out of the position we're in. But long term, I want to see something different, mate. The fact that for the first time ever, there was some little Mourinho rumours, and I know they're all total nonsense, but just to get somebody in who is a bit of a winner would just be would be amazing, mate. I just want someone to come in with character, who's got a winning mentality and a winning attitude, and wants to come and take teams on and play football and go and have a go and try and win football matches. For me, is just what I'm craving for, mate. So,
yeah, I think Ryan, you're Moyes out as well, aren't you?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and I'm worried that if the longer this carries on, we're going to lose one or two players, mate. I don't know. Yeah, no one's going to sign. Got a few more players.
I see Paqueta leaving at the end of the season.
Yeah, I think so, mate. He's going to do something that force a move or something, mate.
Yeah.
He will be gone. Moyes out. Tonight was boring. Fans are singing. That's what it's all about, mate.
I really think for us all, though, mate, I think our best opportunity, our best situation, I just think Moyes is here till the end of the season. I really do. I think we've got to hope now Moyes is going to get us out of trouble, because I don't think there's any other option. I think nobody else is coming in. I think Moyes, we need him to do the business, get us out so we're not looking over our shoulders at the final part of this season. Get to the end of the year. Hopefully the board sell up and somebody new comes in with big plans, big dreams, big ambitions for West Ham, chucks a bit of money at it and goes and does what Newcastle have done, basically, mate, and goes and gets an attacking-minded manager to try and, push the club in the right direction. I think that's that's our best outcome, really.
I do like the Fulham manager. I know he's messed up at a couple of clubs. I know that, but his DNA is West Ham. I know the football, the ideas. But I know he come and stuck a couple of times. I think, Ryan, you like him a bit, don't you?
I like Marco Silva, yeah. But I also like Marco Silva for the fact, if he comes in and Rice is going in the summer, he can bring that Palhinha bloke with him because he's half decent. And we've got a backup in place as well.
I'd love to think that David Moyes could get us out of trouble, get us away from the relegation zone, and go and do something in the Conference League or the FA Cup. I'd love to feel like he could go out on a high. I think if he won something, he'd probably retire, mate, because I think he'd just think that's the pinnacle of won something. He's always said he wanted to win something, and that was it. I'd love to think he could do it. I think there are West Ham fans that believe it. I think there are West Ham fans that think he's got it in him to go and do it, especially in the Conference League. Mate, I'd love to be behind that and think that could happen, but...
I think, Chris, I think Johnson, I don't know what the issue is, mate, but certainly a Championship club should be trying to get him in on loan and he'll hopefully be all right at that level. I don't know, mate, but confidence is gone and I don't even know what his position is anymore, mate. John Radford, God, that's a name from the 70s, isn't he? Thanks for the job. Fresh fielders and the Bielsa, mate. Apparently he was battling it with Dyche for the Everton job, I heard, wasn't he, Bielsa? I don't think he'll come to West Ham.
Yeah, but he said he wanted to take charge of the under-21s and his coaching staff would take care of the first team or something like that. It was really weird.
I don't know, mate. Get Frank Lampard in as coach, mate. That's it. We'll be all right. That's it, mate. But anyway, thank you two. And then I think, it is interesting for me, league game. That's where I'm really going to find out what's going on. And Newcastle away. And let's see what happens. Let's see if we get a few more players back from injury or not. If Emerson's going to carry on and that kind of thing, I don't know, mate.
And Paqueta's got to buck his ideas up. He weren't good enough tonight. He was terrible.
No, he was awful.
He sort himself out.
Yeah. Him trying to block that cross was embarrassing.
That cross he couldn't block was terrible. It was useless. I couldn't believe what he was up to there. Awful.
Listen, that's pretty original for him. I don't think any channel does that. We have a go at players that don't play. Get in there. That's brilliant. Anyway, thanks, Ryan. Thanks, Frankie, for joining in. And we'll watch The Window tomorrow. I'll try to do a few shows during the day when I get a chance. But I don't think anything's happening, gentlemen. I don't think anything's happening tomorrow. We'll just watch Newcastle clear up like Monopoly, and that'll be it, mate. Yeah, that's it. Take care. Have a great evening. Thank you, everyone in the chat. Mate. Cheers, Steve. All right. Cheers. Bye.